Shalom. Could being reactive be an indication of the carnal mind? And could being proactive be an indication of the spirit mind? Let's take a look. I'm going to show you, according to the scripture, that there's a direct correlation between the carnal mind and being reactive, as well as the spiritual mind and being proactive. But first, I want to look at Romans chapter 8, verses 5 through 8. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Elohim, for it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Elohim. So if we want to deal with being pleasing to Elohim, then we obviously can't be in the flesh. So we have to be able to distinguish between what it actually means to be functioning in your carnal mind as opposed to functioning through the spirit mind. So let us look at emotion. Emotion is literally a moving of the mind and soul, hence an agitation of mind or excitement of sensibility. Emotions, therefore, according to the genuine signification of the word, are particularly and primarily applicable to the sensible changes and visual effects which particular passions produce on the frame in consequence of this reaction or particular agitation. I don't know what that definition means. When I think about emotions, emotions is how the world is making me feel, how I respond to what's going on around me. That's emotions. Now that we've looked at what emotions are, let's look in the scripture and see if we're able to connect being reactive to the carnal mind and being proactive and connect that as well to the spirit mind. Let's look at Galatians chapter 5. Galatians 5:19 through 24 says, And the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like. Of which I forewarn you, even as I also have said before, those that practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. When you look at things like rage and selfish ambitions and dissensions and factions and envy, it's all things that's dealing with how you relate to what's going on around you. This guy has something that I want or desire and it's making me feel a certain kind of way. He thinks this about that, so I can't be agreeable with him. I have to have dissensions against him. When we look at these things that are connected to the works of the flesh, a lot of these things that we look at are things that are dealing with how I relate to the world around me. And these are the things that if I'm doing these things, I cannot enter into the kingdom of Elohim. Let's now look at the other side of the coin. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. When we look at the fruits of the Spirit, you can go down the line. There's nothing in that list that is reactive at all. What's going on around me doesn't have anything to do with me being patient. What's going on around me doesn't have anything to do with me being exhibiting loving kindness, self-control. It's all what I'm bringing to the situation. It's proactive. When we think about the idea of being proactive versus being reactive, when we think about the fact that Yahweh is calling for us to be spiritually minded and not carnally minded, when we see this breakdown of what it is to be in the flesh and in the spirit, when we see in the flesh, it has everything to do with how I'm reacting to the world around me. And of course, the majority of these things are negative reactions, right? But when we look at the things that are of the spirit, it's just it's not connected to the external stimuli at all. What you're doing has nothing to do with my patience. When we think about the fruits of the spirit, it's all about what is coming out from you. It has nothing to do with the things that are around you. When we think about love, my love for my brothers and my sisters, it better not have nothing to do with what they're doing to me, that love. And joy better not have nothing to do with what's going on. If I look around me at my surroundings and respond to my surroundings, for me to do that, that's my carnal mind. When I look around and I allow the things that are around me to define who I am and how I be, for me to do that, that's my carnal mind. I can't allow my surroundings to dictate who I am. I'm a child of the King. I'm saying all that just to say this. When we are in a life, when we're striving for spiritual maturity, emotions is a thing that we have to kind of minimize in our lives. Because when we let our lives be dictated by emotions, there's no way that we can be walking in the spirit at the same time. So take that with you. Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Shalom.